Black Earth offers a full suite of humic solutions, from high-purity granules to powder, liquid, and soluble formulations, all powered by pure humulite. Trusted by growers worldwide from one of the world's rarest humulite reserves. Grow stronger with the power of Black Earth humulite. Learn more from mine to market by visiting blackearth.com.
RealAgriculture, I'm Kelvin Hepner. We are at the Canadian Federation of Agriculture's summer meeting in Winnipeg, and pleased to be joined now by CFA President Keith Currie. Keith, when it comes to this summer meeting, give us a taste of some of the things that are top priorities for the CFA board and membership at a meeting like this?
Yeah, so typically we host our summer board meetings in conjunction with the federal, provincial, territorial ministers' meetings. Unfortunately, they canceled because of the situation here in Manitoba and the wildfires. But we continued on with our meetings, and really excited this year. We have a new format of panel discussions, but we're going to have a policy roundtable session in the afternoon. The original intent was to have the ministers join at tables, and that way they could hear discussion on what really is important to agriculture producers and the agriculture industry, like up front from all of the members and the guests that are here. We're still going forward with that, even though the ministers aren't here, and we're hoping to have very fruitful discussions so that we can then summarize, the key points of those discussions to take back to the ministers when they do meet in September. So I expect we'll hear from the usual things like infrastructure investment, red tape reduction, business risk management programs. Really, how do we get the economy going, and how do we seize the opportunities for agriculture going forward?
Mm-hmm. You refer to those as the usual things. From agriculture's perspective, they might be, but it seems like we've seen a shift in government priorities as well. Would you say that maybe there's more alignment now between some of the things that CFA and your stakeholders, members would like to see, and what the government is at least talking about doing?
Yeah, I think we're encouraged by what we're hearing out of Prime Minister Carney and his team. They are really putting a focus on economic development aspects. That's what we do best in agriculture. I mean, we're all small business operators, and the more the economy is chugging, the better it is for us. I've been saying for years there's a lot of missed opportunities in agriculture, and we can complain about all the stuff in the past, but if we can focus on how do we take advantage of the opportunity that agriculture is, because it's such a vast and large industry, that we really can be even a bigger contributor to the GDP and the economy of Canada. So let's go to work and get that done.
Mm-hmm. What does that look like in terms of action items that you'd like to see the new minister at the federal level take?
Well, they've been very clear. They, as in the government, have been very clear that going forward, outside of what the campaign promises were in spending, there's not going to be any new money. But that doesn't mean that they can't do things to help our businesses function better. Regulatory modernization, whether we look into red tape reduction type of aspects. I know we all have that regulation that's frustrating because it may be counterproductive to what we do, or it may conflict with another regulation out there that really confuses us. So really bringing to the government some ways that they can modernize the regulatory framework to allow us to be a lot less restrictive on us to operate. I think that's certainly very important to all our producers, and really to the entire value chain. But also on the economic development side of things, we do need for them to take a look at some key infrastructure investments, and whether that's also combined with the regulatory modernization, even creating the atmosphere for outside investment. So whether that's further value added, continue to grow the crushing capacity for canola, or whether that's invest in upgrading rail lines, increasing our rail capacity, better port service, better access and freer access, more convenient access at our ports, and looking at other places, other ports like Churchill. How do we upgrade the line sufficiently and the holding capacity at Churchill to really give us opportunities for another option for shipping, or upgrading Thunder Bay, for example, things like that. Let's take a look at how we can move our products better, and I think there's some opportunities there. And the other thing that we are pushing is, it doesn't cost the government any money to go support us when we're running into non-tariff trade barriers. They can really fight on our behalf to make sure that other countries uphold the agreements that we already have in place, and so let's see some fight for that. So I think there's some opportunities there where we can get our products moving, and farmers will have better market access, but also more secure market accesses.
Okay. Our new federal Minister of Agriculture, Minister MacDonald, is about 2 months into the job now. I'm sure you've had a chance to interact with him several times. Your thoughts on the job that he's doing so far?
Yeah, I'm really encouraged by our conversations that I've had with Heath MacDonald. He certainly is really happy to be in the role. A lot of people wondered, when he was appointed, who is this person? He's not somebody we're familiar with, but he sat around the Ag Committee table for a couple of years. He's certainly well versed in all the ag files, and I think the bonus with Minister MacDonald is in his previous life he was a finance minister in PEI, so he's got the math equation skills. He understands the money part of it, so I think that's really healthy. And I know he's talking around his cabinet table about the strength of agriculture, and let's not ignore it. He's focusing on what can we do now? What are the things that we can do right now to really make our industry stronger? And I think the more we work with him and help him to understand the direction he needs to go. And also, he's eager for us to help us to start working with other ministries too, because a lot of what we do does require a whole of government focus. So I think that's where he's really keen on helping in that regard as well. So I'm looking forward to working with Minister MacDonald, and he's got some of his priorities, and obviously he's has to work with his government too. But I'm really encouraged to this point about what I'm hearing from the minister.
Do you think he has a window here where there's an appetite for change? I know this is maybe a statement of the broader Carney government. Canadians are open to change, but that feeling may not last forever. And is the pressure on to make some changes and kind of shake things up?
Well, I think obviously the proof has to be in the pudding. It's easy to say things. Certainly the Prime Minister, when he was campaigning, was very focused on what he was campaigning on, and his mandate letter to all the ministers focuses on that as well. But now it's time for the rubber hit the road. And I think they intentionally didn't release any kind of a budget before they rose in the summer, and I think that was to give them the opportunity to get out across Canada and talk to people and understand the kind of direction they need to go in to accomplish some of their goals. So that's why it's important for us to continue to have the conversations. That's why our meeting here is important, so that we can get the accurate feedback from our membership on what they value as us pushing forward for agenda items for the government. So that's why we'll gather all their thoughts around today, and then we can continue that conversation with Minister MacDonald and other cabinet ministers and the PMO, and we'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't mentioned Cody Bliss, who was the chair of the House of Commons Ag Committee, also a parliamentary secretary now to the Prime Minister, which I guess is another voice for agricultural issues within this Prime Minister's circle, at least.
Yeah, well, Cody's no stranger to the agriculture world or the entire value chain, and certainly he did have his, I think it was 12 days as minister, but he was a couple of years at least as the committee chair, agriculture committee chair. He has spent a lot of time getting across the country before he got this position, but even since that position, he's across the country, and he's really, I think what he's doing is he's telling people what you can and cannot do with this government going forward, which is important to hear. Whether we like the can't part is one thing, but at least if we know where the lanes are, that's important. And the fact that his knowledge of the ag industry to be able to whisper in the Prime Minister's ear, I think, is going to be very, very beneficial for agriculture as we go forward. And he will never not pick up your phone call. So that's what I like about having Cody in that position for sure.
All right. Final topic then that we also need to discuss, Keith, new member to, or a renewed member, I guess, to the Canadian Federation of Agriculture.
Yeah, we were very happy yesterday. Our board unanimously voted to accept the application from Canadian Pork Council. I believe it was probably 4 or 5 years ago we started having quiet conversations with CPC about coming on board, and there's a lot of, as you know, with agriculture, there's always internal politics that everybody has to go through, and they left as a member about 10 years ago, but we started talking with them about the potential of coming back, and then especially in the last couple of years, Renee has Renee and I have ramped up our discussions quite a bit, and we worked closely with them on a number of different projects, and Renee did a lot of heavy lifting in the last year and a half to get his board to understand the value of becoming a member of CFA. So we're really pleased that finally came to fruition, and we officially announced it yesterday.
Okay. Can you speak to what that means for CFA's, I don't know if reputation is the right word, but your standing to have a group that's reliant on exports, of course, like Canadian pork industry is, back in the fold?
Well, pork producers are producers first and foremost. They're farmers. And certainly we, to a certain extent by default through our membership of the provincial general farm organizations, we have always realistically represented pork, but we just relied on them to make sure we have the right speaking notes, and they take the lead on issues, and they still will. But having them, an organization like that represents a really large aspect of international trade is really important. I mean, they send a lot of products around the world, and I think it's really important to have a player like that to be part of the CFA family. We really look forward to furthering that relationship with them and continuing to work with everyone else as well. And they certainly are very well respected around the agriculture community, and that just, I think, does nothing but add credibility to CFA as well.
All right. Thanks for your time. I'll let you grab some lunch and enjoy the rest of the summer meeting here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kelvin. Happy to be part of this.